All right. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. How is everyone doing? We're going live here. Welcome. Welcome if you're here. If you're here, welcome. I'm glad you're here. I'm happy that you've joined me today. Excuse me. So today, I'm just kind of making sure here that I'm actually streaming. Yes, I am. Today, we are going to do some vocal tuning. Excuse me. And I've got a song up here. And I'm just going to show you my process for tuning vocals. This is not the only way you can do it. There are many ways to do it. There are many ways, both technically and from a creative/musical standpoint, that you can approach vocal tuning. I'm going to show you my way, which is basically, the way that people do it for pop music today, I would say. Having said that, I think doing it this way, which is kind of like the hard way, or the graphical tuning, so tuning line by line, it's a bit of a dying art form, or I don't know if you would call it an art form, but a lot of people today will just slap a plugin on and keep it on auto mode and just call it good, because the reality is people are just really used to hearing the sound of sort of like over-tuned vocals, or just kind of that auto mode, auto-tuned vocals. Sometimes that's what people want. And I think just if you listen to a lot of pop music, you can hear it kind of working. If you know the sound of tuning software, you can hear when it's kind of working. Now, the way that I approach it is I want to make it sound at the end like the vocalist just sang it that way. So what that means is things that wouldn't necessarily happen in real life, where someone's kind of jumping right up to a pitch, or someone's holding a note exactly right on like the line of the pitch. There are imperfections, and you wouldn't even call them imperfections. You're going above and below the pitch, like with vibrato. You want it to go above and below the pitch, but you want it basically centered on that pitch. So let me just get focused here and kind of show you my process. And then if you're here, you can ask questions as you go, and I'll kind of look down here to my streaming computer every now and then to see if you guys have any questions. But we're going to do this really pretty song called Maple's Eyes by my friend Jesse. I've been working on his project. If you've tuned in live, you've heard some of these songs. And so I've got a vocal here. Let me just kind of zoom in here on this camera, and this will be maybe kind of the main camera today. Let me switch to this sort of a view so you can see. So I've done a vocal comp. The way I record vocals is I record several takes, and so we can see right here I do the takes as playlists, and so all of these are different takes of the vocal. We did take 1, take 2, take 3, and then right up here at the top, you can't see that, right there, this is a comp track, or a compilation track. So I've gone sort of phrase by phrase, and I've taken the best little pieces that I like here. If you zoom in, you can see, I took this word, and then this word, and then this word. And so this is the comp track now. That's what we call the comp. And so that's fine. And right now I've just got auto-tune as a plugin. And as I said, a lot of people will just use this and just keep it on that and call it good. Even in a final mix, they'll just set let me show this screen here. They'll set their key, which you set right here. They'll set the retune speed kind of to, somewhere that sounds good to them, and you just call it good. And honestly, the plugins are getting so much better nowadays. It's the combination of the plugins just sound really good and they do a good job, you know, grabbing pitch. You know, you can retune it slower or faster. But a lot of people will just do that, keep it on auto mode, and just you're off to the races. But that's not how I do it. Unless I'm doing something just real quick or like a rough mix, you know, I'll keep this on there. But I'm going to show you how I do it. So my first step is I create 2 new tracks here. And so I'm going to go here, I'm going to go create 2 new mono audio tracks. And then there they are, right there. We'll see if this camera sort of works here. And I call the first one tuner, and then I call the next one tuned. And so, let me see here. Trying to get you a view that makes sense for you. There we go. So we've got the comp track here, and then I've got this tuner track, and then I've got this tuned track. And so first step is I'm just going to grab this entire thing and copy it down to here. I'm going to make this track inactive for now, the actual like vocal track with like the, you know, the reverb and stuff like that on it, because I'm just going to be zeroing in on just the actual audio here. And then I'm going to set the output of this first track to a bus. Let's just say a bus that's unused, bus 20. And then I'm going to set the input to the next track to the same bus, bus 20. So now this track is going into this track, right? Does that make sense? So now if I arm this track here, and let me also give that to you. Send that to your mix. That's important.
At this point in my life, I thought I'd be more settled in.
And I'm going to, sorry, there's just a delay compensation thing that I'm going to take care of here. Okay.
At this point in my life, I thought I'd be more settled in.
So now I've got that vocal going from this track to this track. We haven't done any tuning, you know, things thus far, but there we go. Also, tell me if if the vocal is like delayed at all. I'm not sure with the busing how it works, sending it out to 5 and 6 for you. So anyway, let me know about that. But now I'm gonna put Auto-Tune Pro, which is what I use, on this tuner track. So here we go. Grab Auto-Tune Pro, and again, this is what I use. I'm gonna set the key to D major, which is what the key of this song is, and then I'm gonna keep the retune speed at 20, which is the default. I'm gonna put the input type to alto tenor, because that's kind of where his voice sits. That's not a huge deal. It just sort of changes the way Auto-Tune tracks in the phrases. And then I'm going to go over here to graphical correction mode. Okay, so here we are. I may need to zoom back out here so you can see everything. Hopefully you can kind of see that. But what I want to do is I want to be able to show the plugin, oops, and then the track, those 2 tracks below it here. Let me see if I can get this in the right spot here. Okay, so if I do like this, and then I go like here, okay, you can kind of see that. I'll zoom in kind of on an as-needed basis here. But basically, now we've got the tuner in, we've got the auto-tune on this track, we've got it ready to go. And then what I do is I'll track this in phrase by phrase, and then I just tune it phrase by phrase. So, for example,
at this point in my life, I thought I'd be.
So I'm just gonna do that much, this much right here, that's highlighted. At this point in my life, I thought I'd be more settled in. So I'm just gonna track that in. So what I do is I go up here to the plugin. Man, you probably can't see that, can you? It's gonna be difficult. And I select this right here, which says track pitch, okay? So I select that, and then I hit play in Pro Tools.
At this point in my life, I thought I'd be more settled in.
And then now we've tracked in that phrase, and now you can see that on in Auto-Tune here. And what this is a graphical readout of notes on a scale. So and you can see the notes, and you can see also the corresponding waveform. And then this line in red is basically what he sang, right? So we have a readout of exactly what he sang, and we can zoom into that both horizontally and vertically like that to get kind of a better handle on it. But my first step is always just, I just say import auto. What that does is it does basically what Auto-Tune would do if it was on auto mode. So that's a good kind of first step. It totally depends on the vocalist. Sometimes I don't do that because that creates problems. But I'll just do import auto. Now you can see it added in kind of this green tealish color. It added what it thinks should be the corrections on this. So now if we play it, we will hear it with the pitch correction on it.
At this point in my life, I thought I'd be more settled in.
Now, that's not bad. Again, these plugins are so good nowadays that you can just do that a lot of the time and it will sound pretty good. But what I like to do is get in there and grab the things that are sounding a little bit unnatural. So I kind of listen real close.
At this point in my life, at this point in my life.
Yeah.
At this point in my life.
So on the word in, if we grab this with this selection tool, if I grab this section right here and I go make curves, and then I go over here to the scissors and I say cut, we can see what he originally did here, which was at this point in, and he kind of went a little bit sharp on the word in, and the pitch correction, if I undo what I just did, let me see, how do I do that? There's an undo within Auto-Tune here. Where is that? I never used that. There we go, right here. So it's sort of, no, here we go. Yeah, so the original, when I did import auto, it's sort of like grabbing this and it's making it sound less natural than it did sound when he just sang it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually grab this section and I'm gonna select make curves here. So now it's just doing exactly what he did, but now I can grab this little thing. These are your different tools up here, so you can do different things with these. I can grab this whole thing, and instead of moving one section up and the other one down, I'm gonna kind of move the whole thing down.
At this point in my life, at this point in my life.
Again, at the beginning of the word in, he dips a little bit below pitch. A lot of times I will use this draw curves tool just to draw in the pitch that I want.
At this point in my life, at this point in my life,
and then you can see there's a big vibrato right here. Usually I like to grab those and then just leave them alone. So I'll do make curves and then cut, or you can do a little shortcut by like just drawing it and then cutting it out.
At this point in my life.
He was a little flat at the beginning of the word life, so I'm gonna do make curves on that one, and then just pull this up a little bit.
At this point in my life, at this point in my life.
Also, there's a little blip there.
At this point in my life.
Sometimes the tracking of Auto-Tune will all of a sudden jump the octave because there's a harmonic or there's an overtone in the vocal that it's getting where it's like, I don't know if it's this octave or this octave. And so you just gotta, again, keep your ears on it.
At this point in my life.
Okay, so I like that part, so now let's move on to the next one.
Thought I'd be more settled in.
Gonna zoom out so I can see it. So this is the little section we're doing here.
Thought I'd be more.
Okay, this is a good example of when somebody scoops up to a note like he did there. I thought I'd be more settled in. Autotune does a sort of notoriously bad job. That's kind of when you can hear it, is when you're scooping up to notes, because what it wants to do is it wants to go, I thought I'd be. It wants to correct the note that you start from and the note that you end on. And I find that it sounds a lot more natural to just leave the note that you start the scoop from where it was.
Thought I'd be.
So that sounds a lot more natural to me already.
Thought I'd be.
Even though he's kind of between this like D sharp and an E, or this E flat and E here, that's just what sounds right. So it's not necessary. You don't have to correct every tiny little, accidental and like little scoop and whatever. And a lot of times, even before listening to it, I will just go in and, like, if I know there's like a little scoop up, I will delete that from the pitch correction.
Thought I'd be.
He goes a little sharp on that high note there. I'm going to zoom into that and just kind of like draw it so that it doesn't go sharp.
Thought I'd be more settled in. Thought I'd be more settled in.
Again, in at the end there, in this little scoop right here, I'm going to redraw and then just cut that out.
Thought I'd be more settled in. Thought I'd be more settled in.
Okay, there's a little blip there because I hadn't crossfaded.
Settled in. Settled in. Settled in. Settled in.
What is that?
Settled in.
Yeah, I don't really need this, so I'm going to cut that out.
Settled in.
There is a little blip there. There is a little blip there, though. You guys hear that?
Settled in.
Oh.
Settled in.
It's not on the vocal track, so we're good. Okay.
Settled in.
So, now it sounds pretty good. It sounds kind of how I want it to sound.
At this point in my life, I thought I'd be more settled in.
Great. This is a subtle difference. The original vocal did not sound bad, but it's little subtleties in there that just take it from pretty good to sounding great. So now I just record that to this track, and so
at this point in my life, I thought I'd be more settled in.
There you go. And then we're just gonna go phrase by phrase through this song and do that to every little phrase. Now, when I track in the next phrase, not sure if you can see that here. Let me just aim this down just a hair. So I want to get some overlap here when I track in the next phrase right here, because I want to be able to crossfade between the two tracks. If I start the next one right from here, there won't be any space to crossfade, and if there's a breath or something in there, you'll actually see a tiny little gap there. And so you just want like a little bit of overlap. So what I always do is, if there's a crossfade, I go kind of like crossfade to crossfade. So I just have a little overlap. So these are my next two little phrases here. Put that up there so you can see, mostly so you can see that. And then I'm just going to do the same thing. Actually, first I'm going to hit clear all. Now, you don't have to do this. Autotune is actually synced to the song, so it knows where you're at in the song. But what I've found is it's easier to do clear all and kind of do it phrase by phrase, because the zoom mode, I don't know if there's a way to get around this, but when you track in a phrase, it zooms to exactly what you tracked. And if you have other phrases in there, it's going to zoom to automatically to everything that you've tracked in so far. So, and it's just cleaner to just get rid of what you just did. If you like it, commit to it, and then just clear all. So I just do clear all, and then track pitch again, and then hit play.
But I'm always second guessing. Can't find comfort in this skin.
Yeah, I got a question online from Gabriel who said, "How does Autotune Pro compare to Melodyne?" I have used Melodyne only a couple times. I know a lot of people use it and like it, and I know there are some cool things that it does. I think that Autotune doesn't do, like it will do multi like polyphonic tuning of like I think like instruments and things like that, or just sources that have two different pitches going. It can kind of zero in on those things and track them. But I've just always used Auto-Tune. That's just what I always used, and ever since I first started in like 2002, or even before that. So for almost 20 years, I've just used Auto-Tune. So each version they have is like a little bit better. It kind of like sounds a little bit more natural and has a few more features, but essentially they're all kind of the same. I've been doing it this way really since I lived in Nashville, which was in 2004 to 2008 or so. And everyone I saw, you know, I sort of like learned how to do it this way in school that I went to in Florida, Full Sail Audio School, with a few little tweaks. But then in Nashville, yeah, this is basically how people will do it. Is they'll track in phrase by phrase. Again, people have different processes, and you know, it's as with most like audio workstations and stuff. There's like 10 different ways to do it. But this is how I do it, and generally this is how I've seen other people do it as well.
But I'm all
Okay, so I tracked that phrase in. So this was an interesting one. Listen to this at the beginning.
But I'm always second guessing.
Okay, but I'm always second. There's a little bluesy. You got to be careful of that. But I'm always second guessing. That's not like those pitches aren't gonna land. They're not gonna sound right if they land exactly on a pitch. You have to know where those things should land. And a lot of times with a slightly kind of bluesy thing like this, or if you're dealing with like a blues singer, where it will sound right is actually right between a note and the flat of that note. Right in between there is actually like where the blues thing kind of sounds right. And I think, I mean, just sort of like from a technician's standpoint, that's why blues is kind of unique, and that's why we like it, because it's sort of it blurs the lines there between kind of like, you know, maybe the right note and the wrong note. It's not, you know, it's not a minor that, you know, he's not going but I'm always second guessing. You're blurring the lines there, and that's what creates kind of that unique feel. And you have to know that. So you have to know some of these you have to know like technical music theory things, but you have to also know when to color outside the lines when you're tuning, and you have to have a sense of like, what is this song? And unfortunately, I've seen a lot of people just do it wrong. And one of the worst examples that I will share is, and I can say this because it's just a giant movie, and I don't know anyone who worked on it or whatever, but it's the movie, it's that Beatles movie. Oh, what's it called? What is that Beatles movie? Somewhat recent, like a Beatles like musical. I have to think of it now that I've Beatles movie musical. Across the Universe. Okay. Across the Universe, that movie that was somewhat recent with like Rachel, girl from Westworld, and you know, some you know, popular young actors and everything. In general, sort of a fun, cool movie, but there's a song in there, Revolution. Say you want a revolution, well, you know. That is a great example of a bluesy kind of revolution, well, you know. Those like little scoops should be really lazy, and where they land when the Beatles sang it, is right in between. It's not revolution. It's not there, and it's also not revolution. And that's what they corrected it to, was the minor, and it's so wrong. If you want to go listen to that that version of the song, I was just in physical pain listening to it, because I was like, that is horrible. And I'm sure, yeah, just whoever's working on it. Hollywood is notorious for sort of like not caring about that kind of thing. So when they make musicals and things like that, they will just like overtune. In general, that movie is like overtuned. Not every performance, but it's just kind of like painful to listen to, because they got some people who could sing and then some people who could like sort of sing but sort of not. And really, it's not the actor's fault. It's the people on the back end who were like, oh, we're going to tune this within an inch of its life, and then just completely misunderstood the coolness of that song and how it's so lazy. Revolution, well, you know. Like, the attitude that's in there completely got lost because it was just tuned to this minor third. Revolution, well, you. It's like, listen to that. It's like, that's, yeah. I mean, I bet they tried the major too. Revolution, well. I honestly think that would have been better, but probably someone tried the major and they were like, no, that's not right. It's got to be the minor. It's neither. It's in between the two. But Aaron, that's not a note. Exactly. That's fine. Don't worry about that. Sometimes it's not a note. Or it is a note. It's just between a major and a minor. There are tones that go between there. It's an infinite amount of notes, right? And the scale that we've come up with, half steps, is somewhat arbitrary in the scheme of things. We've sort of decided that, you know, A440 is kind of our reference, and we're going to go up in half steps, you know, rigid half steps. And there's nothing to say that you can't break those rules. A lot of music, even from kind of around the world, like India and places like that, have like these quarter tones that they can kind of hear better than we can, and they'll sort of go in between the lines like that. Anywho, I digress. Let's keep moving on. All that to say, you got to know that stuff when you're tuning the vocals to know where to put it for it to sound right. And a lot of times, your common listener won't necessarily know that it should be that should be in between the major and the minor. They won't know that, but they'll know that it doesn't sound quite right. People's ears, I think the general public actually gets a bad rap a lot of the time, and I think they're a lot more discerning and a lot more critical than people think. It's like, oh, no one will be able to hear that. I think that's actually not true. The general public, you know, en masse, like as a whole, is one of the most critical groups of people. And they won't know why they don't like something, but they will not like it. And so that's why stuff like this, little minutia, is actually important. It's not for the discerning, you know, nerdy engineer listener, you know, in his studio going, that's a quarter tone too high from the... No, it's for the general public who listens to something and just goes, it doesn't sound quite right, and then turns it off. They don't know why it doesn't sound right, but they know it doesn't sound right. And it's because they've had years of like listening to things, and people just know what they like to sound good. Anyway, so how are we going to approach this?
But I'm always second guessing.
We're first just going to do import auto, which is what we did before, which is fine. And I'm just going to listen to it.
But I'm always second. But I'm always...
Okay, so as I suspected, but I'm always second guessing. That but I'm, the word I'm.
But I'm always...
It put this on, you can see that it grabbed it and it tried to bring it down to this note. But I'm just going to kill all of this here by drawing something new and then hitting cut.
But I'm always second. But I'm always second.
I'm also going to cut this little guy here because I like him landing a little bit above that B.
But I'm always second guess.
Honestly, I could probably lose this too.
But I'm always...
Yep, I'm going to lose that too.
But I'm always second guessing. But I'm always... But I'm always second guessing.
Sin. Yeah, if somebody does that, I'm always second guessing. Just get rid of anything the tuner's trying to do on that because it'll cause you problems.
But I'm always second guessing.
Okay, I like that much.
Can't find comfort in. Can't find comfort.
Okay, so on the word can't, he doesn't quite get up. to the pitch that we want him at, which is this little guy right here. Can't find comfort, can't da-da-da. We want that to be really an F sharp. We're probably not going to be able to get him all the way there. Can't find comfort in the skin. But what I'm going to do is grab this, go make curves, and then just grab all of this here and just bring it up.
Can't find comfort in this skin.
I like that.
Can't find comfort in this skin. Can't find comfort in this skin.
Yep. That sounds good to me. So those 2 lines are good. Gonna hit record.
But I'm always second guessing. Can't find comfort in this skin.
Cool. Next one.
Does it ever really feel like you know who you should be?
This one will be good because he's definitely below the pitch there.
Does it ever really feel
That's flat.
like you know who you should be? Does it ever?
Oops, I forgot to clear all before we did it. Let's do that and do it again.
Does it ever really feel like you know who you should be?
Okay, so we'll go import auto here.
Does it ever really feel?
This is great because it's showing. It'll show. This is a good thing to learn here.
Does it ever really feel? Does it ever really feel?
This is a great example on that word feel. Do you hear that?
Feel.
How notoriously it will sort of make vibrato sound weird. So what the thing to do if someone's got a strong vibrato is grab it and go make curves and just center the overall vibrato on the correct pitch.
Feel.
So it was kind of taking each one of these as like, oh, I need to tune this, now I need to tune this, now I need to tune this. So that's what I do is I go make curves and then I just center the overall vibrato on the correct pitch. But let's listen here.
Does it ever really feel?
Okay, so that sounded a little harsh. So I'm gonna. It's a lot of times it's these transitions, you guys. Like I was saying, like whether it's a scoop or not. Does it ever, when you're switching notes, in between notes, it's not necessarily the notes themselves a lot of times that will cause kind of the artifacty, artificial sound, which is what we're trying to get rid of. Again, we're trying to make it sound just like he's saying it like that. It's these in-between things. So what I will do often is like grab in between these notes and just delete that and leave that alone. So again, if it's red, it's going to just do what he originally did. Da, 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 da. And then this little transition here, delete that. And then this little transition here, delete that.
Does it ever really? Does it ever?
There's still a little funny thing there.
Does it ever really? Does it ever? Does it?
I'm just going to do a make curves on this one.
Does it ever?
Yeah, it's because he's flat there and it's trying to bring him up. I'm going to bring up this.
Does it ever really? Does it? Does it ever really?
There we go.
Feel?
There's a tiny little piece there that it was grabbing, and so yeah, you got to sort of know your stuff when you're doing this.
Does it ever really feel like you know who you should be?
That's great too, because that's like way overdoing it there.
Does it ever really feel like you know?
So I like that.
Like you know who you should be.
Okay, so again here, he was flat. I don't know if I want to bring him all the way up here. If we bypass it and just listen to what he's saying.
Like you know who you should be.
I think we want to go kind of in between what Auto-Tune told it to do and what he did. So he sang kind of right between an F and an F sharp, and it's tuning him. First of all, I'm going to get rid of this transition thing here. Get rid of that. And now I'm going to do a little make curves on this high note here. Like you. That's what that is right there. Make curves. And then I'm just going to go up with it a little bit. Not as high as it went.
Like you know. Like you know.
Okay, that sounds good on you.
Like you know.
But now, no. That sounds artificial. I'm just going to grab this and delete it. No, so the word no is two notes. No, and it was correcting this first one a little over. It was overdoing it, but he does dip quite a bit below the pitch here. So I'm just gonna draw this one in.
Like you know you should. Like you know you.
That's pretty good.
Like you know you should be. Like you know you.
Let's zoom out here a little bit.
Like you know you should be.
Okay, that sounds pretty good. Again, just this little scoop. B. Delete that.
Like you know you should be.
And again, and I'm gonna. This is also sounding weird.
Like you know. Like you know you should be.
So again, I just deleted the place that the scoop starts from. B. So I left the correction on sort of the majority of the word here, but I let him start from the place that he originally started from. So here's that whole phrase. It sounds pretty good to me.
Does it ever really feel like you know you should be?
Great. Moving on. Clear all. Track pitch.
Or do you just keep on pretending until one day you believe?
Got another question from Gabriel. How do you edit the timing of vocals? Auto-Tune or another tool? I manually adjust timing. I don't think there's anything out there that I would trust to adjust timing like in an automatic way. So if somebody's ahead, I will just use the nudge tool in Pro Tools. So if I have a little like region right here, let's say, I think this little guy is behind or something like that. I'll grab this and I'll hit minus. You see that? And so that I can move stuff back and forth just like that. I haven't found anything out there, and I don't know of anything. I know there are time correction plugins, and actually Auto-Tune, this version of Auto-Tune and some previous ones too have some time editing features to them. I don't touch that. Maybe there's a brilliant, easy way to do it within Auto-Tune, but again, timing is such a a creative thing. It's like I might start my word, I might start saying something. I don't know. It's like I wouldn't trust any sort of algorithm or auto thing to adjust timing on vocals anyway, and on instruments like that. Now I do use Beat Detective when I'm editing drums, and that does a great job of like grabbing transients and things like that. Drums is a little bit more cut and dry in terms of the beat should be on the beat, kind of a thing. So if you have a snare drum, you can see that that transient is a big, blip right there, and that should land right on the one of the beat or whatever. But with vocals, I might want the beginning of the word to start a little bit earlier. Having said that, I do edit timing all the time on vocals. Typically, vocalists are ahead. Typically, everyone is ahead. Everyone's rushing. Everyone in the whole world is rushing. That's what everybody's doing. And so it's always nudging things back. And I always tell people when they come into the studio, just think behind the beat, behind the beat, behind the beat. Really, I'm trying to get them to sing on the beat, or I'm trying to get them to play on the beat. But on the beat, quote unquote, to most people feels like you're behind. And that's just the nature of our brains and the way we interact with music, I think, is like we always want to be kind of pushing. We're pushing that click. We're pushing that edge. But usually, yeah, it's just like phrase by phrase. And I'm used to doing it that way where, I might be, have a totally tuned vocal finished and everything, and then I'm still just kind of like nudging stuff. I will often do the editing of timing actually when I'm doing my vocal comp. So when I'm going through the different takes and listening, then when I bring it up to the comp track, I'll kind of like do a little nudge this way, nudge that way. My nudge value, by the way, is usually about 5 or 6 milliseconds. So that's generally the increment that I like to work in, because you can do 1, 2, 3, and that's 15 milliseconds, which is somewhat significant in the scheme of things. But it's not so much that it's not so little that you have to be like da 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 da, and it's not so much that you can't get it exactly where you want. Generally, little 5 millisecond increments is how I like to work. So, yes, won't be able to watch that documentary now. Thanks, Aaron. Oh, no, it's not a documentary. It's a movie. So Josh is commenting, won't be able to watch that documentary. No, watch every documentary. Watch all the documentaries. This is not an actual Beatles song sung by the Beatles that I'm referencing. It's Across the Universe, which is a musical, it's like a musical that has a story that they used the Beatles songs to tell the story of. Hey, still go watch it. Just like skip that song. And it's actually a fun movie. It's very fantastic and sort of beautiful and all kinds of psychedelic colors and things like that. But no, it's not a documentary. It's a movie. It's like a narrative movie. So, yes, don't worry about that. Okay, did I track this in? I am just talking everybody's ears off.
Or do you just keep on pretending?
I did track this in, so we're good here. This is another one here. Listen to this.
Or do you just keep on pretending?
Very in between the lines there. Or do you just keep on pretending? It's not, where is that supposed to land? It's sort of like, we don't know. It sounds pretty good as is.
Or do you just keep on pretending?
I think I want to take the word do. I want to bring that a little bit higher. But in general, I'll probably leave most of that alone. Having said that, I'm going to start how I always start, which is import auto.
Or do you just keep? Or do you?
Yeah, see, okay, so this is interesting here. Here's another thing to know. Where are we gonna go with me?
Or do you?
Sometimes, autotune, it doesn't know. It doesn't know that he's singing a bluesy. All it knows is notes on a scale. You told it D major scale. That's all it knows how to do. And so this note, he was actually going for a D, but he was closer to a C sharp. So it corrected him actually down. It corrected him wrong. So it made him sound worse than he originally. He made him sound more flat than he originally was.
Or do you just keep?
Right. So we're gonna do. Let's do for all these like little. Do you just keep on that much? Tendon. We're gonna do make curves, and then we're just gonna listen to these one at a time.
Or do you just?
So that first one. I wanna bring that up just a bit. So, you do you?
Or do you just keep on? Or do you just keep on?
I'm just gonna grab this thing and bring it up a little bit toward that D.
Or do you just keep? Or do you just keep?
Now I'm gonna bring the little tail of this down.
Or do you just keep? Or do you just keep?
Sounds pretty good. This is a little sharp on the word just.
Or do you just keep on? Or do you just keep on?
Again, it did the same thing right here. Not sure if you can see that or not, but he went a little flat, and it made him more flat because he was closer to the note underneath than he was to the upper note. And again, this is just a vibrato, but it did a weird correction there, so you just got to get in there and fix that.
Or do you just keep on pretending? Or do you just keep on?
Okay, I like that much.
Or do you just keep on pretending? Or do you
pretending?
Or do you just keep on pretending?
Okay, that sounds pretty good. I'm gonna do make curves on this one.
Or do you just keep?
Correct it to make it go pretending. We want to get rid of that. Pretending. Leave that alone. So I draw something and then cut it.
Or do you just keep on pretending?
Because there's notes in there, right? He's going pretending. It's like the tuner's like, okay, we're gonna correct all those. No, don't correct those. Until one day you believe. So the second phrase here.
Until one day you believe.
Okay, so the reason that sounds weird is because
until one day you.
The comp is weird right there. So you can see right here, until 1. I have, this is 1 take and then this is another take. So really I should zero in. I'm going to bypass this tuner for now.
Until one day.
And I need to do a better job on the crossfade here.
Until one day you. One day. Till one day. Until one day you believe. Until one day.
Yeah, he kind of started the word in a different place. I might have to scoot some things around.
Until one day you believe. Until one day you. Until one day.
It's a little better.
Until one day you believe. Until one day you.
Let's see what we got underneath here.
Until one day you believe.
Let's see what we got.
Until one day.
Ah, that's why. Because on the red take here, on this one, he went until one day, and we're hearing him coming down off of that till until one day, and that's why it sounds weird going from one to the next. So I think I'm just gonna do
till one day you.
Until one day.
Until one day you believe. 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 Until one day you believe.
I'm just scooting things around here and messing with crossfades until it sounds right to me.
Until one day you. Until one day you believe. 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 Until one day you.
Man.
Until one day you believe.
There we go. Let's go with that.
Until one day you believe.
Okay, so now, unfortunately, I've gotta start this over because now I have a different until 1. I have a different note there for 1, so I gotta go clear all. Just on this phrase here, I gotta start it over.
Or do you just keep on pretending?
Yeah.
Until one day you believe.
Got a comment from Josh who said, you nailed the common listener idea. They don't know why, but they know it's off. Yeah, I think that's important to know as a studio person, because, yeah, that's why I think pop music is actually some of the toughest music to make. Because if you're making it for kind of like the masses, the overall, you know, like everybody, that collective group of people, they don't accept just anything. There's actually a really good, I forgot what it's called, but there's a guy, I think he's like Norwegian or something, or Swedish. All those like amazing Swedish and Norwegian pop songwriters, they know how to write a pop song over there. But he has this instructional video, or kind of like an educational video. No, it's a TED Talk about songwriting, and sort of the conventional wisdom is like, oh, modern. Like I saw a meme once that was like, that had some beautiful poetic lyrics from like the 60s, or whatever. And then it put it up against like Justin Bieber's Baby song, which is like, I'm like, baby, 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 no, and baby, baby, whoa, and baby, baby. And it was sort of like, like the boomer generation being like, music's not what it used to be, And he basically turns that on its head and talks about how music today is better than it's ever been, ever. And it's because people have learned so much over time. And he talks about, and he like graphs all this stuff out, and he's like wicked, like nerdy and smart, and talks about how repetition, triggers things in people's brains and makes them feel certain things, and also makes them remember. And anyway, I was like, he's preaching to the choir with a guy like me, because that's kind of what I think. I think pop music is of the modern day classical music. I think it's like, it's what, this, for better or for worse, our generations will be known for. Here's what the music was like of these people. And I think only with time do you sort of like grow to really appreciate that. But I'm trying to appreciate it, just modern music, in all of its pros and cons and whatever, everything. I like it all. Like, this is how I do. Again, this is how I do tuning vocals. But in a way, I love it when some hotshot record gets made in LA and the guy was just like, oh, I just had auto tune in auto mode just as a plugin on there. I didn't tune any of that stuff individually. I'm like, amazing. I love it. I don't get like, fists at the heavens there, especially if the song sounds good. That's the only thing that actually matters. If it sounds good and you didn't know that there was like a vocal tuning, plugin on there, then whatever. The process doesn't matter. It's the end result. From my experience, doing it this way is the best way to get both a natural sounding performance, but also get it within the lines of pitch where the general public it will tolerate it. Basically, like nowadays, and this isn't how it always was, but nowadays people will not tolerate stuff that's out of tune. If you go listen to certain bands from the 90s, there was like a Dave Matthews song on, or my wife was playing like a Dave Matthews song the other day, and I was listening to it and I was like, that vocal, it's just it was awe. I mean, and again, not wrong, but it was just, we're used to hearing now stuff that where we expect it to be in tune. The general public expects it to be in tune. And so because of that, and because I like it when it's in tune too, I think it sounds better when it's in tune. I think some of the best singers are the best singers because they sing really well in tune. Like, we don't like to think that that's all it is, because I think philosophically or just sort of like emotionally we think there should be more to it than that, and there is. But honestly, like, one of the reasons Ariana and some of these singers are so good is that they nail pitch. And when you go see them live, it's like, oh wow, they really can do that, and pitch is a big part of it, man. Like, yes, putting emotion into it and conveying an idea and things like that, all good things as well, but also singing it, just nailing the pitch is one of those things that just arrests us in our tracks and makes us go, wow. And so anyway, all that to say, we're grabbing little things here. We're finessing things. This is highly specialized work that we're doing right now, but it's I believe essential. And when I'm doing a record, this is how I always do it. So anyway, gonna get off the soapbox. Aaron, settle down. Okay, gonna go back to this, and we got to redo this because I did a new phrase in there.
Do you just keep?
I could have just done the second one and left the first one alone because the first part's the same, but that's okay. We're just gonna redo this. I remember how we did it. We're gonna cut all this stuff. And what I did on this one was I did make curves, and then I pulled this up and then pulled this down.
Or do you just keep on? Or do you just keep?
And then I grabbed this.
Or do you just keep on?
Also keep was a little bit under. Let's just bring that up just to here.
Or do you just keep on? Or do you just keep on?
And then the beginning of the word on, just gonna pull that up a little bit.
Or do you just keep on pretend? Or do you just keep on pretending?
We're gonna get rid of all that.
Or do you just keep on pretending until one day you? Or do you just keep on?
Okay, that's good.
Until one day you. Until one day you.
Until one day. A lot of times, what the artifacts will be is kind of like a timbre change. He'll sound like a little bit like a chipmunk kind of a thing if it's over tuning.
Until one day you.
On that word one.
Until one day.
Till then, just slightly too much there. So what I'm gonna do is grab this whole thing, go make curves, and then I'm gonna bring it up, but just not up as far as they had it.
Until one day. Until one day you. Until one day you.
I like that.
Until one day you believe. Until one day you believe.
So here's a great example of something that it does sometimes. Believe, that's what it's supposed to be. D, D, E, believe. And look what it did here. It grabbed the beginning of B and it put it to C sharp. But really this should be, this whole thing should be D. So I'm going to grab that, go make curves. Bring that up, not too much, but enough.
Until one day you believe. Until
and you don't really know until you try stuff whether whether auto-tune is gonna do a good job of making it sound natural or not.
You believe. You believe. You believe.
Just gonna get rid of the end of that.
You believe. You believe. You believe.
Yeah, I like that.
Or do you just keep on pretending until one day you believe?
So, I mean, it's been an hour and we've done like one phrase. Obviously, I am going a lot slower than I would usually go because I'm sort of explaining it to you guys as we go. But I'm going to speed up now. And I'm going to show you kind of how I do it in real time. Feel free to pepper me with questions. I will continue to glance down. There is a little bit of a delay. There's like a 15 to 30 second delay between what you ask and when I see it or whatever, or when I say something and when you hear it. So just bear with me on that. It'll probably be a second before I can answer your question. But I'm just going to go here. I'll kind of talk as I do it, just telling you what I do. But this will be like real time how quickly I usually do it. So here we go. Next phrase, we're going to track it in. Clear all, track pitch.
I want to learn to love myself, not a version of me.
That sounded pretty good. He's a little bit flat at the very beginning there.
I want to learn to love. I want to learn to love.
Gonna grab that learn.
I want to learn to love. I want to learn.
Actually, we'll do make curves there.
I want to learn to love. I want to learn to. I want to learn to love my. I want to learn to love. I want to learn.
Stop.
I want to learn to love myself. I want to learn to. I want to learn to love myself, not a version.
Not.
I want to. Not a version of. Not a version. Not a version of me. Not a version of me. Not a version of me. Not a version of me.
Good.
I wanna learn to love myself, not a version of me.
Side note: it's important.
We're both.
It's important that that you don't have any plugins on this track and that the volume is at 0, so that you're not changing anything. Since we're creating new tracks here, you want this track to be exactly the same as this track. Also, you don't want any plugins on master buses. You don't want the Pro Tools Heat plugin turned on, because that will be on your audio tracks there. So I always make sure everything's off. I like to listen to it nice and dry like this too, and loud in the mix. Obviously, the vocals like way louder than it would be, just so I can really zero in on the pitch.
We're both the dark and light are felt, and I could see the beauty.
Got a comment from Tim that says, "You are just cool with heart eyes." You're cool, Tim. I just mixed a thing for him when I was listening to his drums. Love all those Tim Machira drums. Who doesn't love that?
We're both the dark and light. We're both the dark and light. We're both the dark and
Dark.
We're both the dark and light. We're both.
That's not what I wanted.
We're both the dark and light are felt.
Light up. See, the overdid it there. Yeah.
We're both the dark and light are felt.
Yeah, it goes under there.
We're both the dark and light are felt. We're both the dark and light are felt. We're both the dark and light are felt.
Gotta get rid of that little scoopy scoop.
We're both the dark and light are felt. And we're both felt.
So I want that trail off pitch-wise. Felt. It was correcting the whole thing, so it was like felt, and that made it sound unnatural. Next one.
And I could see, and I could see, and I could see.
F sharp.
And I could see, and I could see the beauty, and I could see the beauty.
Sometimes there is no right answer.
And I could see the beauty, and I could see the beauty.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
And I could see the beauty, and I could see the beauty.
Get rid of all that because it's already good.
And I could see the beauty.
There we go. Good. Okay, that one's good.
We're both the dark and light are felt. And I could see the beauty.
I'm gonna redo one thing.
Light are felt.
I'm not gonna go as flat on that D.
Light are felt. Dark and light are felt.
There we go.
We're both the dark and light are felt. And I could see the beauty.
Clear alt. Now,
I wouldn't want for nothing else if I could be the kind of guy.
so this song has some accidentals in it. So it has some chords that are not traditionally in the key of D major, but it actually doesn't have any notes in the melody that are not in the key of D major. But you do have to watch out for that when you're tuning, because not every song, even if it's in the key of D major, you might, sometimes sing a C or sometimes sing, an F or something like that. And that's actually an F chord that we're on there. But he doesn't sing that note. He's just singing D over that F chord. So he never goes outside of the key in this song. And honestly, actually, even if he did, I could just correct for that one single note. But what would happen is the auto mode would grab that pitch and bring it to a wrong key if you're in a key that the vocalist, if the vocalist is singing a note that's not in the key of the song that you have set. That was a mouthful.
I wouldn't want for I wouldn't want for I wouldn't want I wouldn't want for I wouldn't want for nothing I wouldn't want for nothing else. I wouldn't want for nothing else.
Actually, I did that wrong. Nothing.
I wouldn't want for nothing else if I could be the kind of guy.
Yeah, did a pretty good job there. Just gonna grab the end here.
I wouldn't want for nothing else if I could be the kind of guy.
Next.
I am in Maple's eyes.
Okay, just that much.
I am.
Get rid of that little scoop up.
I am in
Get rid of that.
I am in I am in Maple.
This is important. This is the title of the song. This line's very important.
I am in Maple's.
We don't want it to overdo it.
I am in May. I am in May.
I'm gonna do this slide down a little more natural.
I am in Maple. I am in Mapleside. I am in Mapleside. I am in Mapleside.
There we go. I like that. Sometimes I get real smart, and since I'm in auto punch mode, I'm actually recording at all times. And if I am playing something back and I hear correction, you know, and I'm like, that's good, I'll hit record right at the end, and then I can drag it out. And I have recorded the whole phrase, so it saves me a little bit of time.
Oh, like she sing.
Okay, next 2 little lines here.
She's the kind of soul makes you feel truly known.
If you've just joined us, I'm doing some auto tuning. I was doing a lot more explanation earlier. You can actually rewind this this video as we're playing it here, and go back and get a little more kind of context for what we're doing. But now I'm just kind of doing it in real time as I would if you were not here. But you are here. You're here with me, and I'm taking questions from the audience. If you have any questions.
She's the kind of. She's the kind.
Okay, that doesn't sound right. So that's an A.
She's the.
Just get rid of that. That should be higher.
She's the kind. She's the kind.
It's a little shaky, but I don't mind it.
She's the kind of soul. She's the kind of soul. She's the kind of soul makes you feel.
Makes you. Get rid of that little scoop. No scoops.
Makes you feel.
Also.
Makes you feel truly known. Makes you.
Again, it's not the.
Makes you feel truly known.
Our ears, we tolerate. You really want to focus on that landing note. That's the one that should be in tune.
Makes you feel truly known.
So not fee. We can tolerate if that's out of tune, which it is. It's a little bit sharp. Feel, but that one needs to be more in tune.
Makes you feel truly known. Makes you feel truly known.
Again, I'm gonna get rid of this scoop here.
Makes you feel truly known. Makes you feel truly known.
And get rid of that because that was already good.
Makes you feel truly known.
There we go. That one's good.
She's the kind of soul makes you feel truly known.
Okay. Next.
Like she's seeing something deeper, not just your skin and bones. Like she's seeing something deeper. Like she's seeing.
This one's a little bit tough because it was a little bit more.
Like she's seeing.
A little bit more off at the beginning there.
Like she's seeing.
Like she's. That should be a B actually.
Like she's seeing. Like she's seeing. Like she.
That's a little better. Gonna grab the beginning of this here. Put this further over.
Like she's seeing some. Like she's seeing.
Seeing.
Like she's seeing some. Like she's seeing. Like she's seeing something deep. Like she's seeing.
Seeing. Let's see where this sounds good. Bring it down.
Like she's seeing some. Like she's seeing some. Like she's.
I'm gonna bring it down, not quite that much.
Like she's seeing something deep. Like she's deeper. Something deep.
Something.
Something deeper, something deeper.
That's a little bit under. Grab that one.
Something deeper, something
Deeper. We don't need anything there.
something deeper, something deeper. Not just your skin and bone. Something, not just your skin and bone. Not just your,
Not.
not just your,
Not. Get rid of the scoop.
not just your,
Not.
not just your, not just your, not just your skin and bone.
Skin and it should be a D, not a C sharp there. And bones, we'll get rid of that. Scoop up bones, goes up to E.
Not just your, not just,
Get rid of this.
not just your skin and bones. Not just your skin and bones. Not just your, not just your skin and bones.
That's good.
Like she's seeing something deeper. Not just your skin and bones. Like she's seeing something deeper. Not just your skin and bones.
I heard a little distortion thing, but I think it was in a different track. Okay, next.
But when she,
Clear all. Track pitch.
and there's no doubt she's seen some of my worst on display.
Yeah, correct, Gabriel. Another question from Gabriel. So basically, you use import auto as a general guide and remove tweak where needed. Correct. Yeah, in general, import auto. A lot of, I mean, well, I won't say a lot of times. This is about par for the course, like what I'm doing now, like how correct import auto is. You know, I'm still listening kind of to every word, but sometimes I'm like, oh no, that one sounds good, leave it. But sometimes, depending on the vocalist, import auto is like, you just do it and you listen to it and it's like, wow, great. And it does a good job. It just completely depends on the singer, the song, how they were feeling that day. It is sort of a temperamental program. Sometimes the people who you think it should work on, it like doesn't. I find that it actually works better on vocalists with like a lot of like gravelly, like raspiness in their voice, and it sounds worse on people who are like trained like musical or like opera type of singers. Not always, but some, because there's so much tone coming through with like those opera people. It's like only the note that you're hearing. You're not hearing a lot of extra stuff around the note. I have like a pretty raspy kind of throaty voice, and so there's a lot of like extra stuff happening there, and I think that extra stuff can kind of cover up the fact that there's not as much tone happening. But when you have like a trained singer who's like singing all correctly, and they're like, oh, and you have a note that's like when it tries to correct it, it's like, oh, that sounds wrong, because it's doing so much, because there's so much like tone in there. There's so much fundamental note in there. But it's just, it always surprises me who it works on and who it doesn't work on, or what songs are problem songs and what are not. But this is a good like average type of workload that I'm doing. Is kind of like how I've been doing so far. If I'm not talking to people online, usually I can do a song in about an hour. That's like roughly how long it takes me. Incidentally, that's about how long it takes me to do a comp too. When I'm doing a comp, it takes about an hour, 45 minutes or an hour, depending on how many takes we did, and then the tuning takes about an hour as well. But I've been going over an hour now, and I'm only not even halfway through the song, but that's because I've been talking to you lovely people, and you've been distracting me, but it's a very welcome distraction.
and there's no,
Just so lonely here in my studio all day and all night.
and there's no doubt she's seen some, and there's no doubt she's seen,
See, and there's no doubt that's a great example of like, hey, it sounds good.
and there's no doubt she's seen
scene we're gonna fix because it's got that quick vibrato. We're just gonna get rid of it.
And there's no doubt she's seen some and
I like that.
some of my work.
My. Get rid of them scoops.
Some of my worst on this. Some of my worst on display.
That's nice. Did a nice job there.
Some of my worst on display.
Oh.
Some of my worst on display.
Just gonna get rid of this.
Some of my worst on display. Some of my worst on display.
I like that.
And there's no doubt she's seen some of my worst on display. Play.
Should we fix that? We probably should.
Display.
What's going on there? Something's funny. Let's just do this much. I think it's just a tiny bit. It's sort of like sharp, then it goes flat. Let's just center it a little bit.
Display. But when display.
There is a point at which you're like, okay, dude, come on.
And there's no doubt she's seen some of my worst on display.
Good.
Body on me. I know every day's a body on me. I know everything's okay. A body on me. It lays a body on me. When she lays her body on me, I know everything's okay.
I also will do little volume adjustments as I go here. As you can maybe see, it's all part of it. It's all part of the process.
But when she lays her body on me, I know everything's okay. But when she lays her body on me, but when she lays her body on me, I know everything.
That's sounded surprisingly good.
But when she lays her body on me, I know everything's okay.
Get rid of that.
But when she lays her body on me, I know everything's okay.
Okay, again, a little scoop up. Get rid of that.
But when she lays her body on me, I know everything's okay.
That's good. That's good. Okay, we're on like chorus 2 here. We're doing great. We're doing a great job, everybody. Thanks for your support and all your love and all your tenderness.
I wanna learn to love myself, not a version of me. I wanna learn to. I wanna learn. I wanna learn.
Wanna, that should be F sharp, learn.
I wanna learn to. I wanna learn to love. I wanna learn to love. I wanna learn. I wanna learn to. I wanna learn to love myself. I wanna learn to love myself. I wanna learn to love myself.
Yeah. Not a version of me.
Not a version of me.
It's good.
I wanna learn to love myself.
I actually love.
Learn to love myself.
Love sounds weird.
Learn to love my.
It's this thing. Get rid of that.
Learn to love myself. Learn to love. Learn to love myself. Not a version of me. I wanna learn to love myself. Not a version of me. We're both the dark and light have felt, and I can see the beauty.
Pretty flat there. Need a little pitch correction there.
We're both the dark and light. We're both the dark and
Both.
we're both the dark.
The dark.
We're both the dark.
Get rid of this thing. Nope. Sorry. Just that much.
We're both the dark and we're both the dark and light of. We're both the dark and light have felt, and I can see the beauty. We're both the dark, and I can see the beauty, and I can see the beauty, and I can see the beauty,
Beauty.
and I can see the beauty, and I can see the beauty.
There we go.
We're both the dark and light have felt, and I can see the beauty.
Okay. Next.
I wouldn't want for nothing else if I could be the kind of guy.
The tendency on that that last D when it's over that F chord is to go a little bit flat.
I wouldn't want for nothing else. I wouldn't want.
Just gonna get rid of this transition notes here. Done. Get rid of that.
I wouldn't want for nothing. I wouldn't want for nothing else. I wouldn't want for. I wouldn't want for nothing else. I wouldn't want for nothing else. I wouldn't want for nothing else if I could be the kind of guy. I wouldn't want for nothing else.
That is one of the easiest telltale signs of like auto-tune in auto mode is the transition if you're scooping from a 2 to a 3 in a chord. So we're in the key of D. So that's going from E to F sharp. Hardly anyone actually starts on that F sharp when they're doing that. They'll start above or below it, and that just always on that E, on the 2, right on the 2. If you go else, it just like it sounds unnatural. So leave that alone, as with most scoops, but especially if you're going from a 2 to a 3 interval.
I wouldn't want for nothing else if I could be the kind of guy.
That's good. Sounds good. Can you guys hear everything? The mix okay for you? Does the lead vocal sound weird and like behind or anything like that? Sometimes the delay compensation does something weird if you have a track record armed, but hopefully it's good since you haven't said anything. Watch, I'll go back and listen later and it's like way behind the whole time. I think you'll get the idea anyway.
I am in Mapleside.
Tiny bit flat there.
I am in Mapleside. I am in Mapleside.
Moves. Can hear the transition there.
Maple. Mapleside. Maple. Maple. maple side.
There we go.
I am in maple side.
Another question from Gabriel. Are you available for music production remotely? Absolutely, I am. Yes, that is what I'm doing right now. So people send me stuff to tune vocals, send me stuff to mix, send me stuff to edit, send me stuff to track on. I'm around and I am for hire. I have felt very fortunate to be able to continue working during this crazy time in all of our lives. And live streaming with you helps me not feel so lonely because, usually, well, not usually, but maybe half the time or so, somebody's in here with me. I got an artist in here and we're tracking vocals or whatever. Obviously, we can't do that now. I am doing some very limited things in my quarantined vocal booth, which is on the other side of the house. But in general, I'm just kind of working here by myself. But yes, I do that all the time. Send me stuff, Dropbox me stuff, email me about, rates for things like that. Happy to cut you a deal. Let me know. Let's work on some stuff. Love it.
It must have.
Okay, we're in the home stretch here. Home stretch. We're 2/3 of the way done. At the very end here, we'll just listen to the whole song all the way through. That's like the reward you get for all your hard work is put some reverb and delay and nice sauce and effects on the vocal, and then listen to your final creation and listen how perfect it is and how beautiful it sounds. It's worth it. I'm worth it. Okay, here we go.
At what point did I go from certain to unsure? At what point did I go from certain?
Little scoop, get rid of the scoops. You guys, a lot of this is just getting rid of those scoops, honestly.
From certain to
Go auto mode, get rid of the scoops. You're a pro.
From certain to unsure.
See? Same thing.
From certain to unsure.
Done. See how easy that is?
At what point did I go from certain to unsure? It must have snuck in sometime when I forgot to close the door. It must have snuck in sometime when I
Time.
It must when I forgot to close the when I forgot to close the door.
Surprisingly good job there.
It must have snuck in sometime when I
Let's get rid of that.
snuck in sometime.
That's better.
It must have snuck in sometime when I forgot to close the door. Maybe this is something everybody must go through. Maybe this is something. Maybe this is. Maybe this is something. Maybe this is something. Maybe this is something.
Make the curve on that one. It's supposed to be a G.
Maybe this is something everybody.
Yeah. That should actually be an E.
Maybe everybody must.
Ba.
Everybody must go. Everybody must go through. Everybody must go through where we learn I have to love.
Gotta learn, I have to love me. That's remind me to change that.
Maybe this is something everybody must go through.
Bear with me 1 second. I gotta grab a different take. Gotta learn, I have to love me.
Gotta learn, I have to love me. So I can best love you.
Okay, we're back. Clear all. Next one.
Gotta learn, I have to love me. So I can best love you.
Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Beautiful string arrangement on this song.
Gotta learn,
Gotta leave that alone.
gotta learn, I have to. Gotta learn, I have to love. Gotta learn, I have to love me. So I can. Gotta learn, so I can best love you. Gotta learn, I have to love me. So I can best love you. I wanna learn to love myself. I wanna learn to love myself, not a version of me. I wanna learn to love. I wanna learn to love my. I wanna learn to. I wanna learn to love. I wanna learn to. I wanna learn to love myself. 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 I wanna learn to love myself, not a version of me. Version of me. I wanna learn to love myself, not a version of me. We're both the dark and light I feel, and I can see the beauty. We're both the dark and light I feel. 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 We're both the dark and light I feel, and I can see the beauty. We're both the, and I can see the beauty. And I can see the beauty. And I can see the, and I can see the beauty. We're both the dark and light I feel, and I can see the beauty. I wouldn't want for nothing else if I could be the kind of guy. I wouldn't want for nothing. I wouldn't want. I wouldn't want. I wouldn't want, I wouldn't want, I wouldn't want, I wouldn't want, I wouldn't want for nothing. I wouldn't want for nothing else. I wouldn't want for nothing else. If I could be the kind of guy I am in Maple's eyes. I am in Maple's eyes. I am in Maple's. I am in Maple's eyes. I am in Maple's eyes.
Okay, we're done. So then once I do all that, I got my nice, we can get rid of this. I got my nice tuned vocal track right here, right? And I'm gonna hit Command F, and that's gonna do crossfades between all of these things. I'm gonna do like a healthy 35 millisecond crossfade. Okay, it's gonna say one or more fade requests are invalid because on some, without explaining it too much, you just hit adjust bounds and then that works. So now this whole thing, I'm gonna go up to this track, which my vocal track has all my plugins on it. I'm gonna take auto-tune off of it because I don't need that anymore. And I'm gonna create a new playlist called vocal.tuned, which is what I call my tuned vocal track. And then copy this guy up to there. And then I'm gonna disable these two tracks because I don't need them anymore and hide them. They're gonna go away forever. And now we can just listen to the song. Now, this is gonna sound, the vocal's gonna sound really quiet because we've been used to hearing it at that super loud volume, but this is a good volume for the mix of the song. So I'm gonna mute my talkback and let's just listen through to this beautiful song that we've just done. Here we go.
This point in my life, I thought I'd be more settled in, but I'm always second guessing. Can't find comfort in this skin. Does it ever really feel like you know who you should be? Or do you just keep on pretending until one day you believe? I wanna learn to love myself, not a version of me where both the dark and light are felt, and I could see the beauty. I wouldn't want for nothing else if I could be the kind of guy I am in Maple's eyes. She's the kind of soul makes you feel truly known, like she's seeing something deeper, not just your skin and bones. And there's no doubt she's seen some of my worst on display, but when she lays her body on me, I know everything's okay. I wanna learn to love myself, not a version of me. We're both the dark and light have felt, and I can see the beauty. I wouldn't want for nothing else if I could be the kind of guy. I am in Maple's eyes. At what point did I go from certain to unsure? It must have snuck in sometime when I forgot to close the door. Or maybe this is something everybody must go through. Gotta learn I have to love me so I can best love you. I wanna learn to love myself, not a version of me. We're both the dark and light I feel, and I can see the beauty. I wouldn't want for nothing else if I could be the kind of guy. I am in Maple's eyes.
All right, so that's it. I haven't mixed that song yet, but honestly, it's not going to take much. It's a simple little tune. It's like it's one of the least tracks. I mean, it sounds very full and big. Honestly, it's because the strings have been mixed down. There actually are a lot of tracks on this, but the strings are just done left, right now. But I have all the individual string tracks if I want them. But it sounds so good. They did a pre-mix for me at Abbey Road when we went there. Name drop. But yeah, that's about it. That is it. I think I'm going to keep this. Usually I don't keep my live videos up, but this is a good little instructional video. And, you know, for you fellow audio nerds out there, I think I'll keep this one up. So you guys can go back and take a listen to it or whatever. And if you have questions about tuning. But hey, that's going to be it from me today. Thanks for joining. And I will see you probably tomorrow here. Same time, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Until then, hope you are well, and I will see you all soon.